A worrying report has emerged. While joint U.S.-Israel defense against Iran was largely successful, it has come at a heavy cost. U.S. intervention during the 12-day conflict between Israel and Iran earlier this year has dented the U.S. military's stock of advanced missile interceptors to a significant extent. The U.S. Army reportedly launched more than 150 terminal high-altitude area defense (THAAD) interceptors in support of Israel's missile defense. In addition to the THAAD launches, U.S. forces are also said to have deployed around 80 ship-launched Standard Missile-3 (SM-3) interceptors during the same period. These details were first reported by the Wall Street Journal, which cited unnamed U.S. officials familiar with the matter. In this video, Defense Updates analyzes how Israel's defense has put U.S. in risky position by denting missile interceptor inventory. Before we proceed, a word on NordVPN, which is one of the most trusted and fastest VPN brand that has a no-log policy validated by Deloitte. NordVPN provides a 256-bit encrypted tunnel that protects your privacy and also enables you to access contents that are blocked based on geolocation. Its threat protection system helps you avoid phishing, scams, and malware. NordVPN application is available for all the major platforms as well as browsers. Get an exclusive NordVPN deal with massive saving by going to nordvpn.com/defense or clicking the link in the description. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. THAAD is a United States Army anti-ballistic missile system, which is designed to shoot down short, medium, and intermediate-range ballistic missiles in their terminal phase. The platform can seek and lock onto incoming targets, moving up to Mach 22. The interceptor missile is equipped with a single-stage solid-fuel rocket motor with thrust vectoring and has a speed of Mach 8.24. It has an operational range of 200 kilometers, or around 125 miles, and a flight altitude of 150 kilometers, or 93 miles. Each interceptor costs $14 million. At the outset of the Israel-Iran conflict, the U.S. Army maintained 7 operational THAAD batteries, with reports indicating that 2 of them had been forward deployed to Israel. Amid the hostilities, Lockheed Martin, the system's manufacturer, announced the delivery of a minimum engagement package for an 8th THAAD battery, long planned and now entering service. A standard THAAD battery typically includes 6 to 9 road-mobile launchers, each capable of carrying up to 8 interceptors. The battery also incorporates a powerful ANTPY-2 radar system and a suite of supporting command and control and communications equipment. As per the Wall Street Journal story, operating alongside Israeli systems, THAAD operators burn through munitions at a furious clip, firing more than 150 missiles to shoot down the waves of Iranian ballistic missiles, according to U.S. officials. That is nearly a quarter of the interceptors ever purchased by the Pentagon. The figure of 1/4 comes from the fact that the U.S. military's 2026 fiscal year budget request, which was rolled out in June, says the Missile Defense Agency, MDA, has received funding for 646 THAAD interceptors to date, though it has not taken delivery of all of those missiles. The Wall Street Journal's report added, the demand for THAAD was so staggering that at one point, the Pentagon considered a plan to divert interceptors purchased by Saudi Arabia to the systems in Israel, one official said. The discussions were sensitive because the kingdom's cities and oil installations were also considered at risk during the conflict. The U.S. Navy positioned several Aegis Combat System-equipped Arleigh Burke-class destroyers near Israel to help with missile interceptions. Aegis Combat System is deployed by the United States Department of Defense, Missile Defense Agency, to protect against different kinds of ballistic missiles. It is designed to intercept ballistic missiles during the post-boost phase and prior to re-entry. Aegis warships can shoot down enemy ballistic missiles by using ANSPY-1 radar, and standard missiles like SM-2, SM-3, and SM-6 fired from forward and aft Mark 41 vertical launch system cells. SM-3 is an exo-atmospheric interceptor used for theater ballistic missile defense. It uses a hit-to-kill kinetic vehicle to intercept ballistic missiles during the mid-course of their flight path. SM-3 Block 1A, SM-3 Block 1B, and SM-3 Block 2A cost around $9.5, $12.5, and $27 million per missile, respectively. The Wall Street Journal reported that the ships shot about 80 SM-3 at Iranian threats, It was also noted there also are concerns in the Pentagon that the SM-3s, first used in combat last year, also to counter an Iranian attack, didn't destroy as many targets as expected, according to two defense officials. The military is now carefully looking through each launch to better understand what happened. A Navy officer involved in the process said it is premature to judge SM-3 engagements. Viewers may note that concerns over the U.S. military's relatively small stockpile of SM-3 interceptors had already surfaced following their use in defending Israel against Iranian missile attacks last year. Speaking before Congress in June, Acting Chief of Naval Operations Admiral James Kilby noted that U.S. Navy warships expended SM-3 interceptors at an alarming rate during the conflict. It is important to note here that apart from THAAD and SM-3, ground-based Patriot surface-to-air missile systems and ship-launched SM-2 and SM-6 missiles were also employed during the Israel-Iran war in June. Israel's own air and missile defense capabilities were also greatly used during that conflict. All of this underscores growing anxiety within the U.S. defense establishment over the strain on critical munitions stockpiles, particularly air defense interceptors, as a result of sustained military commitments in the Middle East and continued support for Ukraine in its war against Russia. These concerns are not new, but they have taken on greater urgency in recent years as the U.S. military faces the prospect of being underprepared for a high-intensity conflict. A central worry is the capacity of the U.S. industrial base to replenish these munitions rapidly and at scale. Despite increased funding and renewed attention, the ability to surge production of advanced weapons like the THAAD and SM-3 interceptors remains constrained by production bottlenecks, limited suppliers, and lengthy manufacturing lead times. This problem becomes especially acute when considering the demands of a potential conflict with China in the Indo-Pacific region, where the threat from Chinese ballistic and cruise missiles is growing steadily. In such a scenario, systems like THAAD and SM-3 would be in exceptionally high demand, not just to protect forward bases and allies, but also to defend U.S. naval assets and territory. The scale of the problem becomes clearer when looking at the Pentagon's fiscal year 2026 budget proposal. According to current projections, it could take the U.S. military up to 4 years just to allocate the necessary funding to replace the THAAD interceptors reportedly expended in defense of Israel in June. That figure does not even account for the additional years-long delay between when contracts are awarded and when the interceptors are actually delivered. For instance, the Missile Defense Agency, MDA, is not expected to begin receiving its 13th production lot of THAAD interceptors until early 2027, a full 5 years after the relevant contract was awarded. To help address these shortfalls, Lockheed Martin, the prime contractor for THAAD, is reportedly in talks with the Pentagon to expand production capacity to as many as 100 missiles per year. However, scaling up to that level would require time, investment in infrastructure, and coordination across a complex supply chain, all of which means relief is not imminent.